Yeah. I guess, one of the perspectives that I have into this, and I've worked with many, many school districts, for the most part, the communities are very, very, very respectful of their school districts and very much support their school districts. They just want to know that their money is being spent wisely and that it solves the issues, not only short-term but long-term. And I think that's where this district is at this time. The passing of the operational levy was a very good first step, and it really showed that the community cares about its students and gives them the opportunity to better their education. And it's also now at a crossroads where you look at how facilities also represent quality education, and this task force and community will have the opportunity to voice their opinion to create the next stage of this quality education program, and it's looking at their facilities.
And Preston has been leading a series of meetings over the course of the fall talking about our middle school and what people are thinking about that, what the thoughts are about the current middle school, how it meets our needs or doesn't meet our needs, what we should be looking at, where we should go with that. And the first part of the whole series, Preston actually will lead a whole series of events. The listening sessions are the first part, just trying to hear from the community. In the next month, we'll be shifting into more of a specific task force to look at things in more detail, more direct approach about what are the options, what are the ideas with the middle school, and then ultimately by March, that task force will come back with a recommendation to the school board about what to do with the middle school. And the answers could range anywhere from nothing and leaving everything as is to a complete change, a complete different building, location, whatever, and anything in between. But that's kind of what we're hoping to hear here, is a little bit about your thoughts of, what's the state of the middle school, what condition is it in?
We are nearing the completion of our listening sessions that have been scheduled, and we will formulate that information into a recommendation to the school board. At this point, our analysis from the listening sessions is leading to the recommendation that we establish a community task force to look at the various options for a facilities process. And what I mean by facilities process is looking at, should basically there be nothing done with the facility, that it's working fine the way it is, to possibly a remodeling of the facility, to also looking at potentially tearing down part of the old building and adding new classrooms that will be efficient on the campus that's there today. We'll also look at the possibility of creating a new middle school on another location, potentially including the high school campus. Some of the recommendations that came out of the listening sessions that seem to have kind of bubbled to the top would be not to remodel the oldest portions of the 1926 and the 1946 version of the building. And so there leads us into using the spaces of the building that are adequate, the 1960 building, the 1965 portions, and looking at maybe an addition of classrooms to those facilities to maintain on the campus site itself. The other general theme that has come out is to look at the senior high and an elementary campus and create additional classroom space over there that can also utilize some of the common elements of the facilities that are there, such as libraries, kitchen type of facilities, those types of things. So sharing of amenities that would make operationally sense for the building.
We're in the 1923 section of the building, and this part was originally the area we're by is the office area, which was a classroom at one time and then converted into a office area, and then it was remodeled when I came here to be a more adequate office space with the wall taken out and an area for both secretaries to have good workspace for coming in and for space in the back of the office area.
The interesting thing about building codes is that what has been built and operated at that point in time, the codes changed dramatically over the years. And so when that building was built and you've got codes, standards at that time, aren't the same for today. And until you go back in and do remodeling or some reshuffling, the codes don't always have to be brought up to that point until you do that. Of course, if you were to build a new facility today, what's in there today wouldn't work.
And here's our senior center, and we have people here about 4 days a week participating in different activities, and so they use this space, and it's a very nice, adequate space for their use. And it's great to have them around because they do many intergenerational things with our students, and makes it a great place.
One very interesting dynamic that came out of the listening sessions also was the interaction between the senior center and the volunteers from that senior center and the students at the middle school. It was very clear that the seniors enjoy being involved in a facility that they can interact with the students, and the students and teachers really like that opportunity to use that resource to help them in their educational piece. And so the seniors that have been part of the listening session have been very vocal from the standpoint that they would like to have that relationship continue, whether it's in the existing campus or wherever that middle school campus may end up.
And so even if you took down the old buildings and left the senior center there for the community and everything, and then turned the old gymnasium building into the library, multi-floored structure, that right in the center of town, that just seemed like a marvelous idea.
That was one of the real advantages of the location of the building. It's centrally located, fairly easy to get to, and really was kind of the centerpiece of town. And so that's why a lot of people had said, well, boy, we love this location. The question came up, if you moved it to another campus, are you creating more traffic issues? If you were to be up on this campus with a middle school with that traffic, and certainly there are all of those issues that would have to be worked out, but it is a nice location. During the listening sessions, we talked a lot about the next phases of the project, which would be to establish the task force. And one of the things that we did is we asked each of them to volunteer to be part of this task force. Some of the comments that we've heard in that recruitment of task force members was ranging from that they'd be glad to help in the programs, and then some felt that they really wanted to step away as they were involved in some of the previous task force and kind of let the next generation of volunteer take place. And so I thought that was real powerful because we're looking, for a good cross-section, but also some new input.
Well, if I were to make a comparison to the two parts of the building, I would say the granite wing and the commons area are the nice parts of the building, and the older part of the building is, material-wise is an adequate building, but set up space for doing the educational activities that we want to do, and having the variety of things that we like to do, that area just doesn't work as well. Plus, it just feels old, and it just doesn't seem as friendly as the newer part of the building.
Sure. I can tell you though that the opinions have ranged pretty widely, all the way from this building is good enough for that's where I went to school, it's fine, all the way to let's take it all up to one large mega campus and take advantage of a lot of operational issues and busing and all of those types of things. So there really is a wide spectrum of things that have come out of these listening sessions. Of course, also into that is what to do with the existing facility if you do remodel it versus if you were to leave it and go to another campus. The other very interesting dynamic to this district is that you are three unique communities that need to come together and create a very strong district for the schools. And there is a lot of similarities between the communities, but there are also some very differences in the communities. And the challenge will be is to bring all of that community information from each individual and create a common element that is good and is strong for the ROCORI School District.